we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our nutrition talk for August. Our topic today, as you guys know, is affirmations for achievements. And I want to ask you, how would you feel about being 21% more satisfied with your work? It sounds like it would be great, right? Well, if I told you there was a way to increase the chance of you reaching your goal by more than 400%, wouldn't that be something you would want to do? So tonight we're going to talk about unlocking your best thinking to achieve your health and wellness goals. And in our presentation, we're going to divide into the power of positive self-talk and, and affirmations, as well as strategize to implement them into your day. So we'll talk about how to use some that are already out there, how to come up with your own, and why that's important to implement them into any goal that you are setting for yourself, whether it be physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever goals you have. The positive affirmations are really going to help you with that.
So, here at CrossFit Preferred, we believe in a habit based approach to nutrition, which supports a lifestyle change, not a quick fix. So, you should feel confident with your nutrition and fitness plan for years to come, not just an immediate quick thing.
Our program, many of you guys have been a part of, or you've seen us work with other people in the gym. We've helped almost 150 people now in the last 18 months reach their nutrition and fitness goals. And it's customizable to fit your needs. And it's not a one size fits all. And that's something that I really stress when I meet with people, because everybody's journeys are different, just like your fitness journeys are different. So are your nutrition journeys. And so our job is to meet you where you're at, help you identify the lowest hanging fruit, and to put some habits in place so that you're able to make all these changes without it feeling very difficult. We've posted a couple of these success stories here. These are some of them are current clients, past clients. You can see on there that Jacqueline and Clay are on there. I don't like to remove theirs because it's such an awesome story. And now she is one of our nutrition coaches, which we absolutely love. So if you are someone who's looking to take your fitness to the next level, the nutrition piece is oftentimes one that is ignored, and it really does make a difference. I notice a huge difference in my fitness when my nutrition is on point. Not only do I want to go to the gym more frequently, I feel better. My recovery is better. And it really feels good to be confident in your nutrition, especially when there's so many things that can derail us.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And we know that while it sounds very simple, it is far from easy. But that is why, like Tirsa said, we like to focus on your individual needs, and never going to ask anything too crazy of you, but enough to just push yourself a little, and get the success that you're looking for one step at a time.
awesome. So now let's move on to today's topic, affirmations for achievement. There's been lots of studies that confirm a link between gratitude and mental health. They found that something as simple as writing letters of gratitude or keeping a gratitude journal improves anxiety, improves levels of depression, and improves overall life satisfaction. This is something that I implement with a lot of my clients who tend to have negative self talk or not believe in themselves that they can do something. And it's a really simple thing. I ask them just a couple questions to answer every day. What is one thing you're grateful for? What's one thing you love about yourself? And what's one focus that you can have for the day that's going to help your day go well? So, answering those three questions every day will not only help you have a focus throughout the day, but on those days you're really needing that extra support, you can then go back to that journal and look through some of your entries, and just kind of helps you believe in yourself and realize that you have a lot of potential and that you can do hard things. Being a mom, a lot of you guys that are moms, you may have experienced this. I have like this little jar of things that my kids love about me that made me at school, and gave me on Mother's Day. And my boys made me one this last Mother's Day, and they ask me all the time if I read them, and I do. I leave them on my bathroom counter, and I'll pull them out, and just knowing that there's somebody else that thinks I'm great and helps me to believe in myself and have a desire to continue to work towards my goals. So, what else can positive affirmations do? It can decrease overthinking by 250%. That's crazy. And a lot of times that anxiety comes from overthinking. I have one of my kids, she tends to have a high anxiety, and it's because she really does think of the worst, or think, she thinks through every scenario
Mm.
possible instead of just focusing on the positives. And so having that positive affirmation can really help with that. It also increases productivity, which leads to working on average 9 days more in a month toward a goal. So if you are being more productive, you don't have to work as hard, you have more focus, and you can start to see those goals, reach those goals a lot faster. It also increases satisfaction and increases the likelihood of reaching your goal by 400%. Sorry, somebody's at my door.
Trying to check who it is.
No,
Okay.
but it's probably one of the boys' friends.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that it can help increase your likelihood of reaching a goal by over 400%. That's crazy too.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
So, how does this happen? So, the rise of self affirmations that we have seen over the years interested many neuroscientists. So, this led to research looking to explain the phenomenon. So, they took MRIs of people's brains when practicing self affirmation tasks. They found that there is a physical change in certain neural pathways. In fact, the MRI showed they were increased neural pathways being activated. So, more specifically, in the prefrontal cortex of our brain, which is responsible for cognitive functioning that helps us to reason, problem solve, comprehension, impulse control, creativity, and even perseverance. And so basically, it's an umbrella term for this change in the brain is known as neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to change in both function and structure throughout life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know, like, as I've gotten older, that's something that, like, I'm more mindful of
Hmm.
like how to, because like as you age, your brain function can
Right.
diminish,
Niche.
and so that's something I'm really conscious of, is like, how do I keep my brain like healthy?
Right.
And just, it's crazy to think that just by picking some positive things to say to yourself
Hmm.
every day, that can actually create new neural
Hmm.
pathways and change your perspective, like,
Right.
on everything.
Right.
So I really think that's cool. So, the study looking at the brain was carried out in 2015 and suggests that when people practice positive affirmations and thinking, they are better able to view otherwise threatening information as more self relevant and valuable. So, instead of feeling defeated or maybe defensive when coming with threatening information, we look at it as a way of self relevant, and how do we improve from that information that we got. So, what does this mean, and how can we directly apply this to achieving our health and wellness goals? When we are presented with something that may trigger us, we're less likely to respond and react in a defensive and resistant way. In other words, it makes us more resilient. Resilient is a word that Chris and I use a lot with our kids, because it can be applied to everything that we do. And I think I have to tell you a quick story about my son, who was not being very resilient today. Um, my daughter had a volleyball game, and I planned on taking them to the game, and then they got home from school and realized that they had piano lessons and they weren't going to be able to come to
Mhm.
the game. And he so to be resilient means you adapt to
Mhm.
all environments, right?
Mhm.
He was very not resilient. He melted down on the ground, and just it was the end of the world that he couldn't go to this game. And now this is such a small thing.
Mhm.
Um, and if it's not something I address and teach him, then that can continue on as he gets
Right.
older, and he can really be affected by little things instead of trying to learn how to be resilient in
Mhm.
situations like that. And the positive self-talk, praising him for things that he's doing well, all of that, and just giving him positive affirmations will help him be better at that. So I want you to imagine running into a barrier or a trigger, and instead of reacting in ways that move you away from your goal, I want you to reflect and follow through with a more beneficial response. For example, let's say you might have like an unplanned night out, or maybe you didn't have time to make dinner, so you have to pick something up on the way home instead of self sabotaging or just saying, well, my plan, I can't follow through with my plan and just going with the worst option or the easiest option.
Mhm.
You can adapt
Mhm.
and remember the goal that you might have to maybe eat a certain calories or eat high protein and find something that fits within that instead of just crumbling and falling apart.
Mhm.
So that's something that like applies to me. I mean, even tonight I didn't get home till 5:30 from my daughter's volleyball game.
Mhm.
And I had asked my daughter to start dinner, and when I got home, dinner was kind of started. And I could have just, said, called Chris and said, hey, pick up a pizza. But because I practice this and I'm used to like adapting to these kind of things. I just hurried and threw dinner together and they ate in the car, or Chris just took the kids away and they just hurried and ate outside or whatever.
Mhm.
So just learning how to adapt to those situations. When we practice positive self-talk, we're able to do that a lot better.
Right.
And I love that because when I think about all my clients, the times that they can't stick to their habits or they don't stick to their habits is when there's an unknown, like their normal routine gets interrupted.
Right.
Well, normal is a relative word
Yeah.
because so many things can interrupt our normal routine.
Mhm.
And especially if you have a big family or if you have a demanding job
Mhm.
or you travel a lot, all of those things can disrupt your normal. And
Mhm.
if you don't learn to stay positive, and then it's harder to stick to that,
Right.
keep that goal in
Yeah.
mind, and it's much harder to stick to reach your goal.
Right.
I mean, the research shows that it's 400% harder to reach
To
your
reach
goal
your goal.
if you're
Yeah.
not sticking with those positive affirmations.
So obviously just to share some examples, there's something recently that I've kind of gone through, which started like a few months ago, or probably even longer than that at this point. So it's kind of been a long process. And I think definitely at first, when I first started, um, basically, obviously, Clay and I have been working on our nutrition for a very long time. And, we got to our goals and we crushed it, and then some health things happened with me, and I wasn't able to progress. And I'm still not really able to progress because I have to deal with some of those underlying
Mhm.
issues. So, um, pretty much it's some gut health work, and it's kind of a process to kind of deal with that. And when I was first starting this whole process, it's kind of a lot of testing, trying to figure out what it is, what it isn't, and so it's weeks and weeks going by of not knowing what this is. And since I've been used to having a goal and, setting action steps to do it and being able to achieve that almost every time, it's been really hard to kind of adapt to that. And definitely for the first, my mindset at the beginning was very much, I'm not going to get over this. Like, this is so hard. Like, it was very, very just talking down at myself. I can't do this. We're not figuring this out. This is just, it almost seemed like impossible
Well,
at the
yeah,
time.
because your norm changed so much.
Right. Yeah. It definitely changed everything. I mean, I went from, um, I knew how to eat, like, and everything like that. And now it's like certain foods affect me certain ways, and I can't eat certain times, or so much of this and this and
Mhm.
that. So it's definitely a lot of trial and error. And I think that can happen to us in many ways, whether that's your daily life, you're running errands, and, there's another thing that gets added on top of that. But for me specifically, it's just there's literally not much I can do. And I think with our daily lives, there's just not much we can do to change that certain situation that happened. And I think for me, what helps is knowing that I don't have control over certain things, but I do have control over other aspects of my life. And so that kind of helped me switch my mindset to, okay, I can't control this right now, but I can control the little daily things I can do at home. So I can still, you know, go on walks, and I can still work out, maybe not as intensely as I could have a few months ago. But I still set like a little tiny goals for myself that I knew I could achieve, even if it wasn't, ideal or what I had originally planned. I readjusted to what I could do. And it's been helpful for me to kind of realize that my thoughts have so much power. I started writing like notes on my mirror that I can read every morning. Because it's been a big change, big physical change. No energy, um, and just other things like that. And so I really have had to tell myself, like, you're strong, like
It's
you
awesome.
are, you are confident, you can do this. And it seemed so silly when I first started it. I remember like waking up, looking in the mirror at myself and be like, I'm really going to do this. And I would just say out loud, like, I am beautiful. I am confident. And over time, like I just really my brain just started believing it, and I just started feeling a little better. And some days are still hard. Like
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say it's perfect and that's it. But it definitely has helped so much because for a while there it was pretty dark and I didn't want to be around anyone or anything. But now I feel a little better that
Yeah.
that there is like obviously a light at the end of the
Yeah.
tunnel. Yeah.
So do you feel like, just as simple as that is, just to say those affirmations, does it kind of set you on the right path for the day? Like, is it helping
Oh,
you
for
keep
sure.
a positive mindset?
Yeah, because I do that every morning and that wasn't something I was doing beforehand. So it was something that I chose that I had to do every morning. And I really do feel like it helped. And even like during the middle of the day, if I ate something and I got super bloated or I felt super uncomfortable, um, it I would remember like, oh, this morning, like I said these things to myself,
Hmm. So you weren't beating yourself
Right.
up.
I wasn't beating myself up for the rest of the day, and knew that it was just part of my journey.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. So, what are some of the other benefits of positive affirmations? So, some of those things can be our stress is reduced. We can our increased physical behavior, increasing the consumption of healthier foods such as fruits and vegetables. We increase academic achievement, which I think of a lot with my kids, especially my teenagers. And we have less time spent ruminating. And ruminating is something I wasn't sure what that meant, so I had to look it up. Rumination is a deep or considered thought about something. So when we practice affirmations, it encourages us to be optimistic, to have a positive mindset, which can be truly powerful, as you have heard in Jacqueline's story. This leads us to less negative thoughts and time spent lingering on a negative experience. And again, like I said, having teenagers, this is something that is really easy to do, and it takes practice to learn how to not be like that. I think our natural ability, our natural inclination is to be a pessimist or to be
Yeah,
more
for
negative,
sure.
and it takes practice to learn how not to be like that. And
Mhm.
you may or may not have had a role model in your life that helped you to learn that, but it's never too late to work on that.
Mhm.
And I really feel strongly about um, how it can affect your overall mood and depression rates,
Mhm.
like how you're feeling about life in general.
Yeah.
So,
So, we have talked a lot about the amazing benefits of affirmations, gratitude, and positive self talk. But what are they exactly? So, positive affirmations are simply phrases that affirm or build yourself up. So, they may sound like everything is always working out for me. The food choices I make are consistent with my ultimate goal, building muscle. And I am empowered to create the life I want to live. The food I choose to eat nourishes my body. I trust that I have the capability to achieve my goals. When I look in the mirror, I see a healthy person.
looking at the affirmation list, you may have found one that you are drawn to, or you may want to come up with your own, and we want to help you do that. So affirmations are not a one size fits all. We gave you a couple examples, but you may want to find one that works best for you. So let's help you come up with how to come up with your own affirmations. And here's a few things to consider before deciding on the affirmation you want to start with. And I want everybody to listen closely because I'm actually going to have you guys do this tonight. You're going to come up with your own affirmation. So, first, be sure to set them in present tense. So if you noticed when Jacqueline was talking about her story, she was saying things like, I am beautiful. So it's present tense. I am confident. I am strong. So make sure it's present tense. Remember that neuroplasticity, it happens as we face life in real time. So through various experiences, both positive and negative, we want to make sure that we keep it in the present tense. So let me give you an example. I've seen this with people in the gym, and I've used it several times on myself when lifting big weights. Um, when I was doing regionals last year or earlier this year,
Mhm.
there was a workout that I had to do 135-pound snatch. That is my max. Or that's actually, I had only gotten it once before.
Mhm.
And the year before, I had a 135-pound snatch and I
Mhm.
couldn't get a single one.
Mhm.
Um, and so I went into this workout and I told myself over and over and over again, I will get this snatch. I will get this snatch.
Mhm.
And it was a short window. Like I had to do like 30 box jumps and then I had to do 10 snatches. So it was a very small, a short workout. I think I had 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And the first one I tried and I missed it.
Mhm.
Second one I tried and I missed it. And I sat there and I stared at the bar. Then I closed my eyes and I told myself, I saw myself getting it. So I visualized it.
Mhm.
And then I told myself, I will get this lift.
Mhm.
And I got it. And I was so pumped.
Mhm.
And now that I'm telling this story, I realized that I did the same thing with my ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
I had not gotten ring muscle ups and I was able to get them because of that visualization and the positive self talk. And I do
Mhm.
that with members in our gym a lot. Like when we're doing
Mhm.
maxes, I see people's minds stop them. And I'm guilty
Yeah.
of it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Same.
I see their minds stopping them
Mhm.
constantly. And maybe you've had this experience before. And I have had several times where I will stand in front of a member that's about to do a heavy back squat or something
Mhm.
like that. And I'll have them close their eyes,
Mhm.
visualize hitting the lift, and talk through it in their head.
Mhm.
And this is actually something that a friend of mine taught me years and years ago.
Mhm.
And then they'll hit the lift.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy
Mhm.
that our minds limit us. And if
Mhm.
you can see how our minds limit us in the gym, you know that it's doing that same thing with our self worth and with
Mhm.
our choices that we make with nutrition and all that.
Mhm.
It can really limit us if we let it, but
Mhm.
we don't have to let it.
Mhm.
So, the second thing I want you to pay attention to when you're setting your own affirmations is to be sure to focus on only the positives and not the negatives. For example, you're trying to set a new back squat PR. You know it will be hard and heavy, and if you think to yourself, "I don't know if I can get this," you're probably right because your
Mhm.
subconscious actually can't quickly recognize the little words like don't or can't. So all it hears is I can't do this.
Right.
Now I don't think I can do this. All it hears is I can't do this.
Mhm.
So let me give you another example. If you say I can't eat X, I can't eat sugar, you're only going to focus on that until you finally grab something that is sugary. So when we work with our clients, that's something we really try and stay away from is you can't have whatever it is. In fact, we do the opposite.
Mhm.
We say if you love burgers, you're going to make sure you have a burger every week.
Mhm.
Or if you love chocolate, we're going to work in a piece of chocolate every day.
Mhm.
And so that way, there's no can'ts or hands off, or because it only makes you want it more. So instead, focus only on what you're trying to accomplish. It may sound something like, I fuel my body properly and get plenty of rest and recovery so I can hit this lift. Like think of the things that you are doing for yourself to actually be successful in that lift. So the third thing is to be specific. And we talk about this a lot with our goal setting is it needs to be very specific. So while things like I'm healthy and happy aren't necessarily bad affirmations, they start off with being more specific will be better. So like make it a more personal affirmation instead of just happy and healthy. Like what does happy look like to you? What does healthy look like to you? So um we kind of went over those three things. Be specific, make it tense, and keep it positive. So we're actually going to take a minute right now. I want you guys to think of an affirmation that resonates with you. I'm going to have you type it in the chat. We're not going to go over them right now. We'll go over them at the end of the class. But I'm going to give you, it's going to be awkward and uncomfortable, but I'm going to give you a full minute to think about what that affirmation is. I want you to write it in the chat, and then also write how you might use it in your daily life this coming week. Give you guys about 15 more seconds. Okay. It looks like a couple people commented, but not everyone. So if you haven't put your affirmation in there, keep thinking about it. We'll talk about it at the end of class, and we'll move forward.
So now that we have chosen a few affirmations, let's discuss how to implement them. So the studies mentioned in soundtracks found that the most effective way to use affirmations is to say it 2 times a day. So once in the morning and then once before bed. They also found that saying them out loud while looking in a mirror was beneficial. If this feels like too big of a jump, what if you tried doing it only a few times a week or just even once a day to get started? So find a way to stack this habit onto something that you're already doing. Whether brushing your teeth in the morning, or if you eat breakfast in the morning, something like that. And then remember, it takes 30 days to establish a new habit. So it might take you some time. It doesn't mean that it's not working. It just might take some time for you to fully get in that mindset. Things take time.
And that makes sense too,
Hmm.
since we are forming new neural pathways,
Right.
that it might take some time.
Hmm.
I know, in fact, I think it was you that used to have your positive affirmations on your phone.
Yeah.
So that's another option is put them on your phone. So you can set a reminder and then it'll pop up in the morning, and just don't close your reminder.
Hmm.
And every time you pick up your phone, you'll see that
Hmm.
positive affirmation.
Yeah. So, because consistency is the key to success with positive changes from affirmations, here are 4 tips to help you apply it. One is record them. If they are recorded, listen to them on your commute or while you are in the shower. Just hearing you say those words back to yourself will be so beneficial. Number 2, write them out and place them on your desk at work when you are more likely to feel stressed. Sticky note, anything like that, anywhere where you can see it. Number 3, put them on your bathroom mirror to see first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening. I literally just took like an expo marker and just wrote it on there, and I'll change it to whatever I need it for. And then the last one is create a vision board that highlights your affirmations and put it in a place you will see it every morning.
I have one other quick story that just came to mind. Sometimes, if you're just feeling like you can't think of a positive affirmation, talk to the people that you love in your family or close friend or something. Ask them to share something that they love about you. I remember last year, I had a night that I was like, I was in my bathroom and I had gotten ready for something, and I just felt like I looked so old. And my oldest daughter was in there with me, and I just said it out loud. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I look so old." And I went out, I can't remember where, but when I came back home, I she had written on my bathroom
Mhm.
mirror, "You are beautiful." And that was like w- so awesome because it made me see myself through her eyes.
Mhm.
And it helped, like, the most confident person in the world is going to
Mhm.
have doubts and
Yeah.
going to have times where they don't feel confident. And I think a lot of times, like, especially for me, I know that I put off a very confident front and I
Mhm.
oftentimes don't feel confident. I just pretend
Yeah.
a lot.
Yep.
And so to hear that from somebody that I love so much was so great. And I left it up there for a long time because it really meant a lot to me that
Mhm.
somebody was seeing me in a way that I wasn't seeing myself. So if you
Mhm.
can't think of something that's going to help you, ask someone you love to share something about you that they love, and write that. Start with that on your mirror.
Mhm.
So we've talked about some positive affirmations. We've taught you how to do that. We're going to talk more about how to implement them. And I am going to ask you guys to unmute yourself and tell us your one positive affirmation and how you're going to use it this week. But we also want to talk about our CFP principles that we really try and focus around for our nutrition program. We have three key principles to help take control of your health and habits. And the first one is to add more whole foods into your diet. You can start by using the plate method. So a lot of times people will come to us and we'll do nutrition consultations with them, and they're like, "Well, I can't track macros, or I've tried tracking calories, it doesn't work." You don't have to start there. In fact, we hardly ever start people there unless they've already been tracking in the past and that they know that they already want to do that. We use something called the plate method, which a lot of you guys know what it is, but this is just a quick visual of what the plate method is. Half of your plate should be non starchy veggies. So anything like squash, Brussels sprouts, peppers, carrots, things like that. A fourth of your plate should be a lean protein. So you can do chicken, ground turkey, fish. Um, if you're going to do a higher fat meat, then that will be your fat incorporated in your meal for the day. And a fourth of your plate should be a starchy carb. So anything like sweet potato, or if there's pasta or some kind of bread form or something like that, that should be a fourth of your plate. And then just a little tiny bit of that fat up at the top.
And number two is to focus on balance. So when we say balance, we mean does every meal and snack you consume throughout the day contain a carb, protein, and fat? Pairing each meal and snack with all three of these macronutrients will help keep you fuller for longer.
And our third one is to limit the added sugar in your daily diet. The AAJ recommends no more than 6 teaspoons for women and nine for men. And the average person actually consumes over 150 pounds of sugar per year. That's 46 teaspoons per day. Last night we were sitting around the dinner table, and one of my kids, we keep a fridge stocked with different drinks and sodas and stuff for when we have company over. And one of them had like a little Sprite, the little ones.
Hmm.
And she was like, Mom, guess how many grams of sugar this is? And I said, 24. She's like, nope, 21. I'm like, okay, 21 grams of sugar for a 11-year-old is the daily value. Like, that's more
Yeah.
than you need for an entire day. And they had already had fruit snacks that day and other,
Mhm.
random things. We had had a
Mhm.
birthday party, so there were random cupcakes around and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really easy to get beyond the daily recommendation for
Yeah.
sugar if you're not mindful of it, especially because it's really hidden in everything. So start looking at
Hmm.
food labels. That's probably the first thing I would do if you're trying to cut back sugar. Look at food labels. A lot of
Yes.
sauces have sugars in them.
Yeah.
Even spaghetti sauce has
Yeah.
sugar in it. So it's not very surprising that we're all addicted to sugar because it's hidden in everything.
Hmm.
And I know Megan and I are both the same, where and you probably are too, but we're really sensitive to sugar and are
Oh, right now
like,
everything
oh,
is. I like that's one of my main things right now is trying to stick to a certain. Like yeah,
sugar.
it's hard.
It's so hard.
It's so
And like,
hard.
but I'm to a point now where like it I don't feel good. And
Right.
so it's
Mhm.
way less tempting because it
Mhm.
just hurts my stomach.
Mhm.
So pay attention to how you're feeling when you have sugar.
So now we'd like to take some time to answer some of your questions.
Go ahead. You can do this one.
Okay. So, fueling around your workouts to gain muscle, lose fat, increase energy, or any health and fitness goal is important. So, aim to have healthy carbs and protein before and after your workout. If you don't put gas in your car, you wouldn't expect it to get you anywhere, would you? So, don't run your body on empty, especially like today. I did train legs, did heavy back squats, and lunges, all kinds of stuff, and I did not eat beforehand, and it was rough to get
Oh,
through
I
it.
bet.
Um, so definitely, if you work out in the mornings, if you just had like half a banana, like
Yeah,
protein shake or something like that, at least get
something.
something in your stomach. Or and even post workout as well. You want to make sure you're fueling your body, and so and then one of your favorite post workout fuels is a Fit Aid and a protein shake.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so just find what works best for you. Everybody's going to be different, so it's just
Yeah.
kind of like a trial and error figuring out. But especially if you work out later in the day, I always recommend eating about an hour before
Yeah.
something that's going to get digested quickly. And oftentimes, if it's paired with a protein, you won't hit that crash, so you'll have plenty of energy for your workout. Another frequently asked question is, if I don't like veggies, what should I do? I have a daughter that doesn't like veggies. So I hide them in things. So um, I'll slice them really, really thin and put them in sauces. I'll put spinach in smoothies. Um, I will make like blueberry or
Mhm.
banana muffins, things like that.
Mhm.
Just find ways to hide it in stuff
Mhm.
or try preparing it a different way. I
Mhm.
love my favorite way is sauteed veggies. If you have an air fryer, you can do air fried veggies. You can
Mhm.
do roasted or just like raw veggies are a huge hit in my family,
Mhm.
and it's the easiest. So just find different ways to season them or cook them. There's this cheesy, I think it's just called cheesy, and it's a seasoning from Trader Joe's that
Mm.
I am
Sounds good.
obsessed with. And I just anytime I saute veggies, I throw a bunch of that cheesy seasoning on my veggies.
And where should I start? So, this is a great question. I want you to start with one thing at a time. So, maybe it is something you already have in mind, or maybe it is one of the things we discussed today. But the best and fastest way to reach your goals is to work one on one with a nutrition coach to build an individualized plan just for you.
So there's never a perfect time to get started. I met with somebody today, and basically we talked about this. There's always going to be something that will come in the way, but our job is to teach you how to um, actually figure out how to eat healthier while those things are part of your life, because they're never going to go away. Like, we
Mm-mm.
have the holiday season coming up, so
Yeah.
some people might be like, well, I'll wait till after the holidays. But wouldn't you rather have the support through the holidays so that you don't have to start over
Right.
in January? Like, how
Hmm.
much better would you feel if you felt like you had some control and a plan
Hmm.
through the holidays, so when January comes, you can continue to make
Yeah.
improvements. So if you're thinking about how to make that next step and how to take your fitness to the next level, we would love to help you. You can book a free consult with us through our CrossFit Preferred webpage, or come talk to either myself, Jacqueline, or Megan at the gym. If you're not a member of our gym, no worries. We work with all people. You do not have to be a member of our gym to participate and to work with us. We love helping you guys reach your goals. It's one of our biggest joys, and that's why we do what we do. We're not in it for the money. We're in it to help you guys reach your goals and to teach you. And nothing makes me happier than seeing people their minds switch and to
Hmm.
separate emotion from their food and to feel confident in any situation. Like, a lot of times people will start with us just with like a fitness goal or a body composition goal, and it
Right.
changes.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, that was me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely huge. You're like, "Oh, I feel better. I have more energy."
Uh-huh.
And
Oh,
yeah,
well, and
it's
just like
huge.
that confidence in
Mhm.
choosing and being able to be in any situation. Like, I used to have a lot of fear about going out
Yeah.
or traveling. Like, there was a lot of fear
Mhm.
back behind all of those things.
Yeah.
And there just isn't anymore because I know what to do and I don't have to try something else.
Mhm.
And that is what I want everybody to feel. I want everyone to feel that same confidence in any situation. And that's why we do what we do.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and then we're going to go over some of the questions or some of the things that you guys wrote out. So let's see. Dale said, I am okay. Danny, you said, I am capable and I can choose differently. Awesome. Danny, let's start with you. Do you want to unmute yourself and tell us how you can use that or how you plan on using that this week?
I think I kind of self-sabotage, and I feel like, um, I start out the day and I can do it, and then I, I don't know, I have candy sitting around the house, or I'm rushing kids from thing to thing, or, maybe just telling myself that I'm capable, that I can get things, organized so that I can have a meal prepared for dinner rather than having to run through fast food, or I can just the different things that I know that I've been able to do, and maybe telling myself that every day I can actually do it. I don't know.
Love that. Awesome. Okay, Dale, let's go back up to you. You said, I am okay. Tell us how you'll use that this week in your daily life. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, Austin said, I am confident and I am enough. Austin, how are you planning on using that this week? I love that, by the way. Don't be shy, guys. Is he still on here? He might not be on here anymore. Oh, I don't see him on here anymore. Okay. Dallin, I am confident. Tell us how you're going to use that this week.
So sometimes when I walk into the gym and you see everyone lifting super heavy, you just don't feel like you can do the same, but I'm getting better. And so I'm going to use it when I go to the gym that I can lift heavier, that I can be confident in my lifts.
Awesome. I love that. All right. Casey says, I will accomplish staying on track while traveling this week because I want to achieve my goals. So Casey travels quite a bit for work. So I really like that because that is an added challenge when you're trying to reach goals is how do I still continue to make good choices when I don't have as much control over what I'm eating or how to prepare it. So Casey, go ahead and tell us how you plan to do that or how to use that affirmation.
Basically just reminding myself, like when you were saying at the beginning of the call, when things get tough, things come up out of the norm. I don't just, have that give up mentality, just grab what's easy, just instead making myself realize that I've committed to this and I deserve to make better choices.
Yes, I love that. I love that you use the word deserve. It's oftentimes we don't put ourselves first. We think that we're doing better if we can put other people's needs in front of our own. And we can't be the best person for others unless we take care of ourselves first. And that is sometimes a very hard thing to learn. But this is a really good start. So I really love that. Okay, Megan said, I can handle what my day holds. How do you plan to use that this week, Megan? Did she jump off?
Okay, sorry, I couldn't unmute it. Just being ready to handle anything that might come up through my day that, isn't planned, and being able to sit back and take a deep breath and, handle it with a level head. Or, Ben signed up for football and we found out that we have practices till like 9 p.m. at night and I'm up at 4. So being able to handle, doing something like that and still being able to get up and go to work early in the morning and, take my day as I can.
So, and that's, I love that you said that. And I think what I would do if I were you is I would probably set that as a daily reminder to go off on my phone at like 4:30 in the morning. So every
Mhm.
morning when you wake up, that's the first thing you see.
Yep.
So
I can name my alarm that.
I can do what the day holds.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so Dale did comment on here. He said some items may not be going as smoothly as generally expected. Maybe this is normal. Maybe I can manage to ignore some of these imperfections and move on and be productive regardless. That that is every
Yeah.
day for most people. You know, when does our day ever go perfect as planned? Hardly ever. But being able to roll with the punches to me is being resilient, and that's something that we talked about. So I love that. Like, I am resilient. That's mine. I just came up with mine. I am resilient. Being able to handle things that come my way that I didn't plan. And that's really hard to do, but that's what I'm going to do this week. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Yep, I think that's it. Awesome. I love all of these. These are so awesome. I'm going to follow up with you guys and see how it helped your week to have these positive affirmations. And if you feel like maybe the one you chose isn't working for you, don't be afraid to change it or add one if you want to. That's okay too. I love that we have this little group of people that are here to support each other. I just feel so good inside. So thank you guys for taking the time. I know this is not always easy to take an hour out of your night, especially at this time of night. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts. And if you guys have any more things you need support with, please reach out to us. We would be happy to help you. And I hope you guys have an awesome night. Bye.
Bye.